Have you ever met someone who has presented themselves as a highly empathetic person, but the more you got to know him, you realize that this was only a facade, more like a mask, and in reality, their intentions and their actions were self-serving? Well, let me introduce you to the covert narcissist. Welcome to my channel, AntiLoneliness. My name is Vasis Sarandopoulou and I'm a psychologist, and I'm here to tell you more about relationships, mental health, and to share with you the secrets of psychology world. Don't forget to subscribe, but also to click on the bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Well, if you know about narcissists, you know that they have this sense of entitlement. They have this extreme need for approval and this feeling of grandiosity around them, but also that they have very little empathy for others. So what is the difference then with the covert narcissist? The covert has all these elements, all these traits, but at the same time, they hide it very well. They play with humility. They cover all this with their shyness. And they are, of course, very sensitive on what other people think of them. So let's see more specifically, what does it mean if you meet somebody who is a covert narcissist, and what are some typical behaviors? But first, let me differentiate the narcissist, the covert narcissist, with the people pleaser, because there's a little bit of overlap there. You can see also the covert narcissist trying to please others. What is the difference? If you are a pleaser, this stems from your need to please others and your fear that you will be scolded or you will be held responsible. And also, a pleaser is somebody who gets emotionally and mentally drained because they spend all their energy for others. The exact opposite is happening in covert narcissism. The person dealing with the covert narcissist is feeling drained emotionally because of all this emotional manipulation. And eventually they're feeling angry because they started saying one thing, they started sharing how much they are hurt, but then eventually they are finding themselves comforting the narcissist or praising the narcissist. So they find themselves in the complete opposite position from where they started in the beginning. So you see the difference between the pleaser and the covert narcissist. Contrary to the typical narcissist who likes bragging about their achievements and accomplishments, and it's never enough how much praise and approval they get from others, for the covert narcissist, it's the exact opposite. They're actually minimizing their achievements. They're putting themselves down. And this is typical for a covert narcissist to say something like, oh, I wish I could do it like you. I wish I could dance like you. I wish I could dress like you. I wish I could speak like you. I wish I could play the piano like you. And they're praising you, but their intention is that you will offer them the reassurance that they're also talented. They will be satisfied when they will hear, yes, but you are also so talented. Yes, but you are also so good at A, B, or C. So you see that there is something there. The intention is that they will get the compliment back, but they're doing it in a very subtle way. Also, another thing that they're doing is that they pretend to be the victim. They like the victim role. So if there's a conflict, they're trying to take the role of the victim. They're trying to persuade you that they were just misunderstood and that they didn't have this intention. The only thing that they did is only care about others. They want to persuade you that they are the most caring person of all. And it's your mistake if you misunderstood them. It's your mistake if you didn't see this intention. So you can see that the blame and the responsibility is very easily shifted from them to you, from them to somebody else. And all this is happening in a very subtle way. As I said, the victim role creates this protection wall around them. Who would hurt somebody who is already a victim? Who would hurt somebody who is already sad and really regretful about what has happened? who will actually hurt somebody who had the best of intention, and they wanted actually to care for everybody. So this is the protection wall. They don't allow you to say anything bad about you. And if you dare to say something like that, then this is the victim role coming. This is the moment where we are talking about feedback. A covert narcissist is very sensitive to feedback, and they perceive it as criticism. And they don't even allow you to continue, and they're not going to stop you, but they are going to take this sad phase. They are going to make you feel bad because you gave them feedback, or they are going to hear you but not actually listen to what you're saying. So they are going to nod and say, yes, I get it, but you see that they're not elaborating on that. You see that they are not asking more questions. They are not there actively listening and being curious on what has happened, why this has happened, and how can they change that and make it better in the future. They're just saying this, yes, I do, I understand, but then that's it. And you see that they're holding back. And you have this feeling that they are going to hold on to that. And this is exactly what's happening. A covert narcissist is a passive aggressive person. They're not going to say openly and directly to you that they don't agree, or that how they feel really angry about what you said. No, they're going to take this sad face and try to make you feel bad because you hurt them, even though initially you were hurt. But still, the roles are shifted. And they are going to hold on to that, which means that any dialogue around this feedback will be something like a yes, but. It will be, yes, I understand, but I don't understand, or but you are wrong. So there's always a comeback, something that even though right now in this moment they are agreeing with you, still in a couple of minutes they're going to come back with something like, yes, but aren't you too sensitive about that? Maybe you were triggered. Maybe this is your issue and you were triggered. So they're trying to actually get rid of the responsibility that what they said is hurtful, and they're going to bring it back to you, making you feel that you are too sensitive. And this is exactly where the narcissism hides. The fact that they're not empathetic, they cannot resonate with how you feel about what has happened. Another way that they're expressing their passive aggression is with silent treatment. So even though they agree, and remember the conversation ends up with them feeling regretful or sad, still you're going to feel it. They are not going to be as talkative as before. They're not going to be as relaxed and comfortable around you as before. They want to get a message across, which is, you hurt me and you're going to pay for that. And even though you ask them, are we okay? Is there everything okay after our last conversation? You get a fine. Yeah, everything is fine. Yes, of course. And feel free to share with me any feedback you have in the future, or feel free to tell me if in the future I do something and I hurt you. But then you feel it. They're holding back. They're starting detaching from you. And this is what usually happens. They detach. Don't forget that covert narcissists are lonely people because they keep everybody at a distance. So they come too close to you unless something like that happens, and then they detach again. They disconnect from you. And I will explain more about that why. Another way that they are showing this passive aggression is that they rationalize what has happened. So instead of going with the feeling, the fact that you were hurt, or the fact that you didn't like what they said, or the fact that you're trying to set a boundary, instead of connecting with your feeling, they are seeing it in a very rational, in a very cold way, which is, well, that was my opinion. Am I not supposed to say my opinion? So you see, they're taking in a base of true or false. This is true. This is my opinion. This is right. It is my opinion. And again, they're shifting the responsibility. They make you feel as if you are the person who's trying to suffocate them and don't allow them to have an opinion. So you see again that they're shifting from the feelings to the ideas, to the beliefs. And that's a useful observation because we're going to need it so that we can understand how to deal with a covert narcissist. Another way that they're showing their passive aggression is the fact that their words don't match with their actions. So they would say something like, I fully support you and I'm going to be here for you. And I truly believe about what you're doing and I love what you're doing. And then their actions will not follow through. They're not givers. You will see that even though they promise that they're going to help you through your hard times and that they're there for you, and you see all these grandiose gestures of kindness in front of others also, but also to you, you will see that then they will not follow up. They forget to call you, or they will forget to share something with you, or they will forget to include you in something. So you see that this passive aggressiveness comes in subtle behaviors like these. And don't forget that a covert narcissist is a poor listener. Before you even explain, they will jump in to explain their own opinion. They will say something without even listening to what you said before. So they are more self-absorbed. They're thinking more about their own interests, their own feelings and their own needs, and not so much about others. So how are we going to cope with someone who is a covert narcissist? So first of all, make sure that you know which behaviors are the ones of a covert narcissist so that you will be prepared. Preparation is key here. And when you get prepared, don't allow yourself to get confused with their emotional manipulation, with their arguments. It's very easy to get confused and entangled in their world so that you will forget what was initially that you wanted to say. So don't go too far. Keep it short. Explain your position and explain why you are sharing what you're sharing with them. That's the most important thing. So if they said or they did something that hurt you, always get back to that. I am sharing this with you because I was hurt, and I want you to know there's nothing wrong about that. This is the relationship that we want to build. I'm sharing this with you because I think it's important that you know how I feel. And there's nothing wrong with me sharing how I feel. I want you also to share how you feel. But first, let's explore how I'm feeling, and then we go to you. So create a very clear boundary. This is the most important rule of how to deal with a narcissist, covert or overt. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Always. Don't overanalyze. Say what you want to say and stop it there. It's very easy for them to confuse you in their arguments. Stop it there. Repeat the same thing again and again if they don't get it, or if they try to distract you into other directions. Go back to your initial argument. I'm sharing this because I was hurt. Can you hear me? I was hurt when you said that. And I would like you to understand how I felt. Be in my shoes. Come in my position. Bring them in your position. Also, distinguish when they are trying to shift the responsibility. So when you are talking about something that they did or they said and that hurt you, there's going to be a moment when they will try to shift it, and it's going to be about you hurting them with your feedback, with your criticism, or with you misunderstanding their intentions. So stop it there. Don't allow them. Bring them back and make them actually see what they're doing. Look what you're doing. I'm actually coming here to tell you that I'm hurt, and you're making me feel bad that I'm sharing my feelings. So confront them with the reality, with what's happening at the present moment. Boundaries, again. Also remind them of the consequences of what has happened, and tell them that it's important for me to share my feelings here, because if I don't, then you will keep hurting me. And then this relationship will be severely damaged in the end. And I don't want that to happen. So make them see that this is important. This is an important conversation because it's an important relationship. Make them see the consequences of what they're doing, because that's something that they cannot negotiate. Of course, this relationship is important. And of course, in healthy relationships, we want to have this open channel of communication. If this person repeats this behavior and you realize that this is more toxic than it should be, keep a healthy distance from this person. And at the same time, Lower your expectations. Don't expect that this person will ever change so much that they will have a healthy conversation or a healthy attitude towards feedback. Have realistic expectations and still keep boundaries and protect yourself. Keep in mind that covert narcissism and generally narcissism is not black or white. Either you have it or you don't. More or less, we are all narcissists. We have to find, though, what is the degree of narcissism in each one of us. It's like a continuum. We are all a little bit of narcissist, but some of us can be more toxic narcissists. Some of us can have more unhealthy, toxic, narcissistic patterns. This is what we're trying to figure out. We're not trying to walk around with the list and every person that has any of these characteristics, mark them or label them as narcissists and get rid of them in our lives. There are people with narcissistic behaviors or patterns that when we confront them, when we set boundaries, when we explain to them, they can actually change. They can actually understand what is the meaning of this conversation. So allow other people to be next to you, even though they have those behaviors, but protect yourself. And boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Remember also that we are not born narcissists. We become narcissists for some reason. And this reason can be a very valid one. Narcissism is a coping mechanism because something traumatic, something emotionally overwhelming has happened in our life. And it can be trauma, it can be abuse, sexual abuse, abandonment, anything related to severe trauma. So keep that in mind. A person who becomes a covert narcissist is a person who actually is afraid of others. And that's why he's using this armor. And that's why they're using this coping mechanism. If this person means a lot to you, if you think that this person has also positive qualities and you want them in your life, try to explain them that this is a behavior that they have learned for some reason, but it doesn't serve their purpose anymore. It doesn't help them in their life. Try to see them through this spectrum. Narcissism is a way for them to cope their own insecurities and their own fears. So keep this in mind. Understand the narcissist, but more importantly, protect yourself, set boundaries, and protect your energy and your feelings as much as possible. I will share more information in the description. See you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.